Hello. I got something pretty cool. It's a Rapt Lite. Yesterday, me and my nephew Drake went over to Jonas's shop. Helped him assemble some Rapt Lites, hung out, talked about fidgets, shared my own fidgets, and, well, I assembled this one, which is kind of cool. I assembled like 20-something of these guys, of the hybrid setups for Jonas. Didn't know that I was going to be assembling my own, but I got to leave with this one. So this one is totally unslid. Oh, no, I did slide this one a little bit. Okay. When I was putting them together, while I was getting down when I was figuring out how I like to assemble them, I would fidget with the first few just to make sure I got the magnets right and I didn't accidentally flip them or anything. And then once I got in the flow, I stopped fidgeting them and making sure, when I first assembled them, I would give them a pushover, a back ladder, and then put them in the egg crate, and they were done. It was fun to be able to do that. Oh, hang on, I missed this from earlier. Put this back in the box. Cool. So yeah, the Rapt Lite, I got to see the whole process and help with the whole process. The only thing I didn't do is use the arbor press to form the slide plates from their flat surface to their formed form. Everything else I was able to assemble, help with, give input. I'm actually gonna take something apart here and show something that's new. I don't even know if Jonas has showed off this bit yet. Not sure. The screw is a little different than the original Rapt. I don't know if I don't remember if that's been told or not. But check this out. Look at the new foam dampener here. It only touches what it needs to touch, and it self-locates on these pins. And now from the looks of it, it's sticking to the magnets more so than the steel plate here. Pretty cool. It is literally ridiculously easy to assemble with how the tolerances are on the holes and like the spacing of everything. Found that if you let this screw kind of jostle itself into place and then gently thread it in, does just fine. Snugs up very securely. Make sure this one still feels the same since I'm using a different tool. I was using Jonas's tool the other day. Yesterday. So yeah, this is a Rapt Lite with the hybrid magnet setup. I guess you could see that when I just had the plate off there. I should have talked about that a little more. I was just talking about the dampener. And I mean, it's a really, really good slider. Like, Jonas is big on the phrase, I'm trying to under-promise and over-deliver. And I think for the fidgetability for being a slider that of course isn't these, giving this to my brother later today, had to wait and get some light magnet inserts from Jonas before giving it to him. So I don't know if the video for this has gone up yet. I forgot to take a thumbnail picture, so I was trying to wait before I did that. Got it from Ollie and Taylor Washington. Some good, awesome community members. Very grateful now that I can afford to give it to my brother. So, okay, the Rapt Lite. They do definitely have a little bit of a break-in period. We'll just get that out of the way, so it might feel a little, not so buttery right at first. And that is okay. It's because it's been stone washed to get rid of some of the sharper edges from the lasering of the slide plate whenever, it's in its flat form. So tumbling it, stone washing it, takes off a lot of these edges, and it makes it much, much more pleasant to hold. This is again coming down to trying to meet a lower price point and giving something that still has a very premium fidget feel to it. Like, yes, this does not look as pretty as this. They're not the same thing. Like, yes, their form factor and their size and their magnet layout is all very, very similar. I would actually say the magnet spacing, I don't know if you can see here. No, maybe it is more similar to the V2. Yeah, magnet spacing is the same as V2. I don't take back what I was about to say there. Like, it might be a little different. Like, is it taller? I think it does extend out just a little bit more. So I do think it has a slightly bigger square, and it does feel like it when I'm playing with it. But that was necessary for the plate shape that was achieved. Speaking of plate shape, this is what makes this thing, oops, so worth it. Let me make sure. I'm gonna look through this on camera here. Look at the plates. We're only touching on the corners, guys. That's what you want for a slider. That's what you get here. You know, it's a slightly different shape, but you still only get corner contact. And I didn't know this before, but you can see through the top plate too, like with the dampers, which I think is pretty cool. I don't recall that feature or aspect being disclosed before, but it's neat. Okay. So, what are you getting for the price? Actually, I don't even remember the price because he gave me this because I was going to review it and I helped him do stuff and he said you could take one or buy it. And of course I was cheap and said I'll take it. But he was saying that because a lot of people, when they do reviews, if they get something for free, they think it's going to be maybe biased, like the person giving it to them or maybe the viewers, but I know a lot of you guys around here know I don't really care about that. Like, I already like the Rapt and everything for what it is. Like, I have no reason to like be dishonest or be biased about what this is. It's not this, but it fidgets pretty much just as good. Slightly different because there's different textures on the plates. The weight, let's see. The weights are different, of course. Still in frame? We are. Tear it out. So what does this thing weigh? Yeah, 73 grams. So this weighs 81.6, 66, 64. Nice, I didn't realize that was so light. So it's definitely in the middleweight range for Rapt, which is maybe on the middle lower end because it does have the plastic inserts, but it does have a very thick steel top plate. Like, all the function is there. The ergonomics and the hot spots are, well, the ergonomics are there and the hot spots are really not there anymore, especially considering how they come off of, I guess, once the plates are lasered and before they're formed and before they're tumbled. They definitely are on the, like, I got to handle some of the earlier versions of the Rapt Lite, and it definitely had some edges and, like, especially on the inserts, you know, like right here. I'm trying to pop my nail. There we go, on the edge here. This has gotten softened from tumbling, so the inserts have been tumbled, which radiuses the corners. The plates have been tumbled, which radiuses those corners, and it really does make it much softer to hold. Like, yeah, you still have like these lines, and you know, they're not 90-degree corners because they've been radiused, but sharper edges than something like this. That comes down to trying to get the cost down, and I think Jonas did a great job there. I think if you know like what you're buying, that there's no qualm there, and I think anyone that wants Rapt sliding is going to be happy with this. I think the price point is really good. Does all the moves that I ask of it. All the security is there. The magnet strength, I guess, it's slightly different than the, you know, a standard Rapt, but it's really close. Like, these are both hybrid setups. Really, really similar. And I got to play with every magnet configuration on the Rapt Lite. You know, both of the 2 clicks and all 3 of the 3 clicks. And I mean, they're all very, they're pretty different. Like, I guess like the strong and the hybrids maybe feel kind of similar, but the weak 3 click feels pretty different from the hybrid setup. And then I got to say that the 2 clicks feel very different from the 3 clicks for me. Like, I don't have a lot of experience with putting 2-click inserts in my Rapts. I actually don't even own any. I just, for some reason, think I like 3 more than anything else. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but whenever I was playing with it on the Rapt Lite, I mean, it felt good. It was still a good square pattern. There is definitely wider lateral magnet spacing this way. This thing's already getting smoother as I'm raking it in here. So now that I've slid it a good bit, you can see, this is something I've noticed. When it's new, you definitely get some black coming off on your fingertips. And I think this is from the tumbling process, because you can see a wear pattern forming on the plates already. This is something I wanted to show people just in real time, one that was fresh and then one that starts getting worn. So this is I guess you could say it's a bit of the texturing for the tumbling process to remove these edges is going to be wearing away a little bit on your hand, is what I think the blackness is. So I'm gonna clean this off real quick. I'm gonna get some tape, and then we're going to keep talking, keep fidgeting, and see where it ends up. So let's see. I got some Windex for my fingers here. Got all of that off. Nice. Now with some painter's tape, we're just going to clean these. I like to slide them because sometimes it can jostle things around. So yeah, you can see here, this is what I was wanting to test out on a freshie. I don't know if you can see the imprints there. There is definitely some black and gray coming off. So I think during the break-in period, there is going to be some, well, I guess, going to be some black coming off on your hands. Oh, and it feels way better now. Buttery feeling. So I think it's just really going to get better. Like some of the ones that I was playing with at Jonas's, he's been testing for a little bit, and they have, you know, obviously more slide time than this one does, which is brand new. And they feel pretty dang similar to this guy. The scratchiness, if you don't like that about, let me show you one that's not worn very much, about these plates, and you can't even really hear it. It's because it's not a very deep pattern. But that scratchiness, some people don't like that. And it takes a lot of sliding to wear the surface down to a point where it doesn't do it anymore. These are buttery smooth. And my sweaty, oily, weird hands that make every single flat plate slider stick together, especially they would right now. Like my hands are just that perfect bit of clammy moisture that I wish I had a slider here I could demonstrate with. Like really any flat plate slider, I can use it when my hand is like this, and as I come into contact, you know, with the plate, manipulating it, my skin oils build up on it. And once you get to this position, it can totally just lock up and freeze, and you're like, what the heck? I've even kind of freaked some people out. Alan, if you're watching, he brought like his whole Magnus collection over sometime last year. I mean, they're great sliders. They feel really cool. I really liked the copper Verk with the stainless plates. But as I started playing with it, my hands got sweaty. After about 5 minutes, I got to that position. I started feeling it happen. I did it a few more times, and then it locked up really good. And I just handed it to Adam, and I said, or to Alan, and I said, "Here, feel it." And the look on his face whenever he tried to push his slider and it wouldn't move, he was like, "Oh my gosh." I was like, "It's okay, we'll just wipe it off and I won't touch it again, and look, it'll be just fine." And sure enough, it was. So for me, that capillary adhesion and salty griminess that comes out of my skin, it don't work on flat plates. It just doesn't. The slider becomes like non-functional. I see some perspiration showing up right there. That caffeine's kicking in. So, I mean, the proof is totally in this for me. I'm sweating pretty good with my hand right now, and I'm still able to fidget with a smooth plate Rapt because we do not have full plate contact. and flat surfaces trying to stick to one another. That's just physics, guys. You can't cheat it. It's gonna happen sometime. And if those flat plates wear in enough eventually to where they get polished, then it can get like really bad. It won't even really take moisture from your hand. Like if you lap some flat plates together and then try to pull them apart, you ain't gonna pull them apart. It's just how physics are. It's a weird thing. So this is an excellent fidget, especially for the price point that it's at. There's going to be new bodies. It's going to be available in different metals down the road. The inserts, Jonas is going to get made in aluminum, which is absolutely going to be a game-changing upgrade, I think. It'll put it in that 80-ish gram range, like my favorite Rapt here, which is honestly my favorite weight for a Rapt. I like how... I like the speed and the inertia of the start of the motions and the next click into the magnets. Hopefully I'm wording that in a way that it makes sense. I just like how how it feels whenever it swings and then locks back in. It's enough weight to give it a nice kind of ka-chunk, but it's also not so heavy that it over travels even whenever you really fire it. Especially since my plates are worn in. The magnets are a little closer than they would be, if not worn in. I mean, look at that wear pattern. Beautiful. This thing has so much use time. But that weight is where it's at for me. Maybe it's just because it's been like my number one, my go-to for so long. But man, God, this thing is even feeling better and better as I just keep sliding it right now. These plates really are just buttery as they're wearing in. Let's see, I'll give you another plate check here. You can see it already getting shinier in a larger area. I'm blacking. Still getting some black showing up. Fidget a lot. I will keep everyone updated on how often my hands turn black with this. So that is something I'm curious about, and I think some others could be too. Because I'm so particular about my fidgets. I really don't want to pick this one up, or any of these up, with my right hand when I have this fine metal debris. Oh man, it just feels so good after I wipe my hand and the plate down again. Let's do this one more time. See what we got going on here. They're so buttery smooth. And so my nephew Drake had one of the magnet sliders with stainless plates for a little bit. Tumbled it and colored it blue. And we both noticed that those plates were also turning our fingers black after some use time. So so far, these are the only plates I've ever experienced that don't let that happen. I mean, if you guys are trying to get a Rapt, or you want an everyday Rapt, if you want really the best fidget slider function that you can get, but you can't get your hands on one of these, this is absolutely the next best. I know the other things can be prettier, like all the magnet sliders, Compiform, Black Dog, fidget things. I don't even know. There's a lot of guys out there now making really good sliders, but no one else is making plates like this that aren't flat. So these are number one. This is number two for me. All looks aside, when it just comes to a fidget slider and its function, Rapts are number one. Rapt Lite is number two. Everything else can fall in line behind with its fat plates. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to keep testing, keep rocking it. Jonas, thank you, man. If you watch this, I'll probably send you the link, because I know you seem like you might want to see what I have to say about this thing. I don't think I've shit on it, right? I totally would if I wanted to. But you've really done a great job with the R&D and all the testing you've done, all the different the dies that you've made. If you're gonna make a new one, please let me know. Oh, brother. Very snappy. Feels really, really good. I mean, as it wears in, it's just getting better and better. Said I was gonna wrap it up, and I'm just enjoying fidgeting with it. Can I do my new... can. A little hard for me to fire it up. Let's see. It's really locking in there. There we go. It's just a slightly different shape, so I'm having to learn where to hold it and where to make it fire from. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I am actually done now. See ya.